Roke. I'm sorry I hit you in the face.
That was good. That was good. Rope. Rope.
Clay, I'm sorry I threatened to cut your head off.
Very good. Wow. Don't you two feel so much better?
No.
Lots of fun. I mean, the film is fun from start to finish, and a big part of it is the rapport between the cast. Was there any prep? Was there time where you guys got to know each other, or were you kind of thrown in and found it as you worked?
We've had the script for a long time. We were aware of, you know, the skeleton that was, the graphic novel. So when we got onto set, there was sort of like a real sort of understanding and sort of like, you know, we're all on the same page of what we're trying to achieve. And then, you know, I remember when I heard Zoe was doing it and Jay was doing it, and we're all doing it together, and we were at the read through. It was just like, wow, this is.
It all came together, and there was no such thing as like an hour of waiting for the ice to break. It was as if like we've been friends since school.
It was, you know what? It's lucky. It was immediate kind of a family bonding thing, and really it was lucky because if we hadn't had that, this movie wouldn't have worked. It just wouldn't have.
And it just seems like everybody sparked to the material. So when you read it originally, did you know the book already? Or?
No, I read it, but I read it when Pete Berg wrote the original version, and he was attached to direct. So like 4 years before we made it, I read it and just tracked it. And I think then another director, Tim Story, was involved.
Yeah.
And then Sylvain. And by the time I sat down with Sylvain, I had read the comic books, I had become aware, but when I first read the script by itself, it stood out as, I just remember I loved the script. It reminded me of all the movies I wanted to make when I was a kid growing up and going to the movie theater and watching Lethal Weapon, you know.
Die Hard,
it was that movie, and it hadn't been done in a long time. And so I think we all responded in that way to this script because it's those kind of movies that we want to be made, and we got a chance to make it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's great that the characters aren't defined by backstory that we learn through dialogue. It's all in action. You guys really do define yourselves by how you interact physically, and especially your first big scene together in the hotel room it's a great romantic scene, and it's a great physical scene.
Thank you. I was waiting for somebody to say that word, romantic.
You saw me, didn't you?
I did.
I have a business proposition for you, Clay.
Oops. What happened to your accident?
Oops.
That fight scene in particular was tricky for her and I because we knew what we wanted it to be. We wanted it to be kind of this foreplay for these two characters, and we did it a couple times. And you can rehearse the crap out of this, but it's different when you're actually shooting it.
Well, because we gave him what he wanted. He was, I want a violent encounter between two individuals that are increasingly lethal. But at the same time, too, you guys are really intrigued by each other.
Right.
And you guys, there's an attraction that you guys cannot deny. So you guys are getting to know each other while beating the crap out of each other. And we're like, oh, this is kind of confusing. And then and then he goes, and I'm going to set the room on fire. And you're like, okay, pressure's on. And it ended up being like an awesome scene.
Yeah.